Alright, hi everybody. We're back again with World of Warships, and I'm driving the Tier 5 Japanese destroyer, Minekaze. And this is going to be probably one of the better games I've had in this, and, well, anyway, you'll see how I do, see some of the mistakes that I make, and also see some of the some of the mistakes that my opponents make. So anyway, we're a little bit into this, and you can see we're moving down the west side of the map, and I'm hitting more or less south southeast. I don't want to be the first one spotted for obvious reasons. When that happens, you end up taking a lot of gunfire, and well, I don't want that to happen. But anyway, I had just spotted that Ognovoy, if I got the pronunciation correct. But then there's an enemy Minekaze out there. Now, generally, I like to keep my torpedo spreads on narrow, except in a situation like this, because I put those torps out just to chase that Minekaze off, that enemy Minekaze off. And he actually does the right thing by turning and running, but watch this. He ends up basically steering himself into two of my torpedoes. Now, the second torpedo uh, didn't damage him. Or if it did, it didn't damage him enough to kill him, and I don't know why it didn't, because each one of those will do about 80% of its health, Minekaze's health. But anyway, I pick up a couple torpedo hits there. So I drop some more torps in the water here, and again, I'm just trying to scare off the Ugnovoy. Sorry, pronunciation. And now I'm trying to get my guns around as well, except he's blipping in and out of view, and the one shot I do take, well, yeah, it's not very well aimed. I try to get one or two shots off. I'm worried about that Minekaze off to the right. I don't know where he is. My torps are going through the smoke there, but yeah, that was a horribly aimed shot at that Russian destroyer there. So anyway, mixing it up down here, there's one Russian destroyer, one Japanese destroyer. The Isokaze on the enemy team's already been killed, so I'm not too worried about him. And this, oh man, those Russian guns are good. And the bad thing about the Minekaze is it does tend to take the module damage. It does. I do tend to lose the rudder and the engine fairly often. So, but on the other hand, I have I think it's survival skill for my captain on this, which means I can still drive at least, still keep the ship moving, even if I have my engine taken out. Now that first pair of torps I put out, I probably should have been a little bit more cautious with. Do have a friendly cruiser off to my right, but he had at least the presence of mind to keep moving. But still, I've probably hurt his his chances to dodge those enemy torps, and he ended up taking one. So that's on me. No excuses for that. I should have put that torpedo out a lot further to his left than I did. At least give him some room to maneuver, or a little bit more room to maneuver. So, all right. So anyway, we're on the ocean map, and this is a good map for the Minekaze, simply because torp range and view range. Detectability range of the Minekaze is about 6.1 kilometers. Torp range is 7 kilometers, so you've got a good chunk of distance to work with. And this map really, really lets you use it. So anyway, I've given up on those two destroyers down there, because if you take a look at the mini map, you'll see that there's 3 cruisers and a destroyer heading south, and they're gonna take care of those enemy destroyers without too much trouble. On the enemy team, I know there's 2 destroyers down there, and I think there's a third one as well that I just don't have spotted right now. So I'm looking at the map, and I'm thinking, okay, this Warspite could use a little bit of love here. I'm pretty sure this is the Warspite I'm looking at right now. And so I'm starting a stern chase on him. I want to get in a position where I can drop some torps, but he's turned away from me, and he's running north. So now there's a New York, if I remember correctly, off in the distance. And if I can't run down this Warspite, then maybe I can get some drops on the New York. But the thing is, the team up north needs some help, needs some screening. And as far as the enemy team's concerned, all of our destroyers on the south side of the map. So this is a chance for me to pick up a nasty surprise here. So anyway, I was saying about the ocean map. Some folks were complaining about this early in the battle, and I didn't get the chat down. They don't like the fact there's no cover, no islands to duck behind. I'm of a different opinion because this is the kind of map that this map is the kind of engagements that the fleets would take into account or would fight on in the war. An open map with no terrain or very little terrain to deal with. So anyway, I just put some torps out of that cruiser out there, the Cleveland, and when I did, he was outside my torp range, but he's moving in more or less a straight line, and my torps are moving in more or less a straight line. So by the time the torps get there, he's gonna be within torpedo range. And anyway, here's the close-up view of it, and here it goes. You're gonna see the torps just come in absolutely perfectly. I've got 1 hit, 2 hits, and again, this is why I used the narrow spread. I wouldn't have gotten 4 hits if I had used a wide spread on the torps. So there's that, or at least that does it for the Cleveland. I'm getting ready to set up another torp drop. Oh, yep, there it goes. And I'm taking it at the Furutaka there, and he's just outside my detectability range. So I'm drop torps, turn around and run. And the Cleveland and the Furutaka, both of them, all they needed to do was slow down or adjust their course a little bit, and this would not have happened to them. And you're about to see, again, what happens when a salvo of torps hits an enemy cruiser. There's 3 more hits and another kill. So anyway, going back to the... I got another moment here. So going back to the ocean map. This is the kind of terrain that you would actually... Navies were actually planning to fight on during the war. And it was rare that they would actually have terrain to deal with. So I do like the ocean map. And I would actually kind of like to see a second ocean map or second style of ocean map come into play. Something maybe with a harbor or cap point up in the northeast corner. You start the two fleets, roughly where they are right now, but they have to cap a point up in the northeast corner, kind of a domination mode. Call it safe harbor or something, where you have to get to where the fleets need to get to an anchorage before a storm hits or something like that. There's a good scenario for you. So that's my thoughts. So anyway, going back to the game, we've got the New York, and just like Jingles makes fun of, this battleship driver, he is sailing in an absolutely straight line. He's tunnel visioned on something. I think it's a Fuso down just to the south of me. I think that's what the New York's looking at. And I put all 3 torps pretty much down the same angle, same azimuth, barely off. And this New York, he's going to drive directly into them. There was no... 1, 2, 3. Actually, it looks like I got a hit on the very, very front of him, but it just didn't register for some reason. But anyway, yeah. Nice shot. Nice, no problem there. I sank their battleship. And at this point, the match is... it's not for practical purposes over, because there is some enemy resistance, but at this point we're pretty much mopping up down south. And this Cleveland out here, even though I dropped a spread of torps, it wasn't a really well dropped spread of torps. I should have spread them out a bit more, but at that point, when you sink 3 targets because they're not turning, you start to think nobody's going to turn anymore, and that's what I pretty much was hoping would happen. Anyway, he did the right thing. He cut back hard to his starboard, and he was going to miss my torps cleanly, but somebody else took him out. So next up, we've got another destroyer over here, and I think this is the Ognavoid, and again, sorry if I'm mangling this pronunciation, but he's harassing our Fuso over here, and he's going to do a pretty good job of it, and I'm coming into range, and I'm trying to line up my guns, and I don't know what was going on with me here in this match with my guns, because first off, the Minekaze's guns, if they hit hard, and if I had actually aimed these shots, then yeah, I would have stood a good chance of killing this guy. But yeah, as you can see, way out in front of him. So now I'm waiting for the reload, and the reload is a little bit lengthy, and he's coming around again, and I'm aimed again, and again, just in front of him. So, yeah. And I'm lined up a third shot, and oops, sorry, Fuso, right through his superstructure. Didn't get him. So now what? Well, I'm looking at these incoming aircraft, and I'm thinking, okay, I think I know where the carrier is. But all of a sudden, I'm thinking, oh crap, you know what? Let's give this Fuso some cover. Minekaze's anti-aircraft guns are not good at all, but in this case, every little bit helps. If I could put some firepower, well, downrange, I can get the Fuso a little help. Maybe he can dodge the worst of this incoming. So I'm not in formation. Well, more or less formation. And oh, look at these flying fish diving under the water here. Formation with the Fuso. Give him a little bit of extra anti-aircraft fire. Didn't help, but there they go. So the aircraft are flying straight back towards their carrier, and at that point I'm thinking, all right, I have a pretty good idea of where that carrier is. They're down to 2 ships, a cruiser and a carrier, and their carrier, their Independence. And the cruiser's doing his thing, but we've got plenty of ships down there. I think that's a Cleveland. I'm not 100% sure, but he's right now he's just outside my view range. He's well outside my gun and my torp range. I am not going to run him down before somebody else takes care of him. On the other hand, there's the enemy Independence, right where I predicted he would be. It was a toss-up whether he'd be running north or south. He's running south, and my vector is almost perfect to intercept him. So I'm bringing the ship around a little bit, and I'm just going to run basically straight at the Independence for the next minute or so. But anyway, while I'm doing that, going back to the map, like I said, I'd like to see another ocean map, something with a lot less terrain, basically, something so you don't have to count on the ocean map coming up in the rotation so often. So oh boy, I mangled that. Something where you get an open ocean or a mostly open ocean map coming up in the rotation more often. Let's go that way. So anyway, this is going to be pretty much about it, and you're about to see why I called this video what I did, Oceans 15, is because I'm about to get my 15th torpedo hit on this Independence. Sadly, the end of the match, or the replay ends right as I hit it, and if I don't kill the video stream or the Bandicam recording before the replay stops, then I'll get a bugged replay and it just won't work. So anyway, there you go. 15 kills, or excuse me, 15 torpedo hits, 4 kills, and yeah, I did good job. About 2,200 XP on that, base XP on that. So anyway, I guess that's it. So keep the rudder shifting, and good luck out there. Bye.